I made a video about accessing your true nature right before going to sleep and also right before waking up from sleep. That these are two access points you can think of it, even though your true nature is here now. But it might be easier to realize it in this transition from waking state to the sleep state, and also from sleep state to the waking state. So someone was asking, if I could give some more details about that. So here it is. So when you're falling asleep, when the body is falling asleep, if you still are alert by just being alert, but at the same time very relaxed, it's this paradox where you're completely relaxed, so relaxed that the body falls asleep, but you are still alert. You could say that you don't fall asleep. The body falls asleep, the mind falls asleep, but you don't fall asleep. Now, in truth, you're always awake. I point to that almost in every other video, that you're always awake. It's realizing that you're always awake. And this is what I'm talking about here, is this access point, that you can realize it. So let me ask you, have you ever had that experience when you're kind of nodding off to sleep and you're aware that you're kind of nodding off to sleep? You kind of feel the body kind of bounce and you kind of feel like you're kind of going in and out kind of thing. It's very similar to that, right? It's very similar to that. But as you're falling asleep, let's say you're in your bed, you're very relaxed and you feel the body getting very relaxed, very heavy, and very still. And you notice the mind is becoming very still and the body is becoming very still. And if you continue to be very alert and relaxed, you might have experienced this where the body actually starts sleeping and you're aware that the body is actually starting to, the breathing changes, and the body might start snoring, where you're actually aware of the body snoring, that the mind is totally silent. There's no images happening in the mind. There's no thinking happening in the mind. And it's like you're watching the body snore. But at the same time, it's like there's no other movement happening in the body. You're not rolling around. You're not moving your arms, your legs. There's this snoring. So it's like you're watching the body fall asleep and there's no activity in the mind. So it's essentially that the mind is asleep, the body is asleep, yet you are fully awake. There's just this awareness that remains. Otherwise, how would you know that the mind has stilled? How would you know that the body has stilled? And what you'll notice is even that snoring, it's like you stop becoming aware of the snoring. And then there's no awareness of the body, no awareness of the mind, but there's just an awareness, not aware of anything, aware of no thing, awareness of awareness itself. And this is a profound realization, because you're realizing that you exist without the mind and you exist without the body. If the mind is no longer present and the body is no longer present, because you are not aware of it anymore, but you are present. That means that you exist independently of the body-mind. That your existence does not depend on the body-mind. It becomes self-evident that the body-mind have disappeared. Yet, you, the awareness, are ever present. And that's why I say it's kind of this transition period, because obviously you're aware in the waking state. And as you're drifting off to sleep, you realize what it is that is continuous. The only thing that's continuous in life. You see how the experience of the body is not continuous. The experience of the mind is not continuous. But this awareness is continuous, that this awareness is unbroken, that this awareness is ever present. And it's in between this drifting off to sleep from the waking experience to the sleep experience. What is it that is aware of both experiences? What is it that's aware of the waking experience? And what is it that's aware of the sleep experience? You, the awareness. So right before going to bed, that's one time, as well as it's very similar to as you're waking up. As you're waking up, there's no dreams happening, but yet there's no body that's awake, and there's no mind that's doing all this thinking. It almost feels like it's like everything hasn't booted up yet. And there's just this awareness. Showing that, I shouldn't say showing, but it becomes self-evident that you are prior to the body, mind. That you exist prior to the body, mind. You start seeing for yourself that the body, mind seem to disappear when you are transitioning into sleep and reappear when you are transitioning out of sleep. And because you are noticing the disappearance of the body and the mind, it means that you are still present, that you are ever present, that that same awareness is continuous. It never ceases to exist. That as you're awakening from sleep, as the body is awakening, as the mind is awakening, it feels like there's this activity that's arising. Feels like everything's kind of booting up. Feels like the body and the mind have now been added on. But you are aware of just you, just the awareness. Without the body and without the mind, right before waking up from sleep. Again, showing you that you are existing without a body and a mind. and you're conscious of your true nature, you start experiencing yourself, this happiness, this love, this peace, this freedom that when the body seemingly disappear, it doesn't feel like you lack anything. It doesn't feel like you're missing anything. The experience is that you are complete, that you are full, that you are whole. You're tasting your true nature. You could say that when all the distractions are removed, well, then now you experience yourself. And like I said at the start, a good access point is that transition from the waking experience to the sleep experience, as well as you can access it just before waking up. And it helps you realize that you are much more than just the body and mind. It helps you disidentify with the body and mind. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more detail into what I was talking about in that video. Good questions. If you have any other question regarding this or anything else that you want further explained in more depth in any of the videos, then I'm happy to do so. Again, thanks for the question. See you in the next one.